Have you ever heard about something that seems so stupid you wonder if you're actually dreaming? Well, that's how I feel in regards to this Baldur's Gate 3 TV show news. Like, what are we even doing here? Baldur's Gate is set to become a TV series at HBO helmed by Craig Mazin from The Last of Us. Show will continue the story of Baldur's Gate 3 and those characters. No word on Larian's involvement or not. Brother, what are we doing? Hello, everybody. It's your boy Jmulls. We have a lot to talk about.
I'll enjoy watching you try.
But oh boy, the plot thickens. Discussing film, Baldur's Gate 3 developers Larian have no involvement with the show. Oh, that's always what you love to hear for a video game adaptation, isn't it? But if you do a little bit more digging, you will find this tweet from Swen. Who is Swen? Well, no real big deal or anything like that. He's only the founder and CEO of Larian Studios and led the development of the Divinity series and Baldur's Gate 3. Ignore this picture they have of him where it looks like he wasn't anticipating the camera flash. So let's see what he has to say here. Crazy that a story that started out in a small hotel conference room eventually evolved into a narrative inspiring enough for it to become a HBO series. We worked incredibly hard on making Baldur's Gate 3 worthy of its legacy. It's a phenomenal game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Its characters and narratives are the result of many teams working together, and I think I can speak for them all in saying that they'll think this is cool and hope that what comes next will enjoy the same level of passion. The endings of Baldur's Gate 3 were created so they could serve as narrative soil for new adventures. There's plenty of directions they could go. I'm eager to find out which ones Craig and his team will pick. He's reached out for a chat, so we'll have the opportunity to tell him our thoughts. This is nice to hear, I'll say that. Crossing fingers that the story we're cooking up for Divinity will eventually grow to the same heights. Certainly putting in the hours. I'm really looking forward to Divinity. That trailer at the Game Awards, though, was absolute heat. But this is really what I want to focus in on, because the premise for the show is that it's going to follow up the ending for the game. However, if you've played the game, you know there's multiple endings and different ways each of the characters' story can progress over the course of the game depending upon your actions and your decisions. And I'm not saying this couldn't work. It absolutely could work. My main concern is, one, if it's going to feel even remotely as good and compelling as the game. I highly doubt it. I'm very much pessimistic when it comes to that. But also, and this is far more of a personal thing and not everyone's going to agree with this, for me, when a game has multiple endings or a story has multiple endings, I don't really like something coming down the line essentially canonizing one of those endings, or at least making one ending feel implicitly more canon because it is an actual follow-up. Now, is it likely that they just go with like the quote-unquote like good endings for each of the characters, or maybe a more neutral ending and they just kind of continue from that? Yeah, probably. I feel like the storyline that Lae'zel ends off with, especially that one, is just begging for a follow-up, and I'd argue more so than the other characters. But I just don't really like the idea of giving more legitimacy to one ending or one series of endings compared to another. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's not like the end of the world or anything, right? And it doesn't make the game itself worse or anything. It's just a feeling I don't really like. But also, like, what do you do for the main character? Like, the player character? Do you just go Dirge? Like, do you just go Dark Urge? In which case, do you just go Lizard Man? Like, that might be the route they go. Do you even bring in the player character? Or just, like, reference them throughout the show? Like, what do we do here? There's a lot of questions when it comes to this. And I imagine it's very early in development. But I am overall very pessimistic when it comes to this. Now let's get into why. Exclusive. Craig Mazin, co-creator of arguably the most acclaimed TV adaptation of a video game to date. I'm sure some people would have thoughts on that one. HBO's The Last of Us will be taking on another hugely popular and acclaimed game title next. Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3, which is set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Unlike HBO's The Last of Us, which retold the story from the PlayStation games, the Baldur's Gate TV series will be a continuation to the games, telling a story that takes place immediately after the events of Baldur's Gate 3, as the characters, old and new, are dealing with the ramifications of the events in the third game. This sounds absolutely terrible. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, this crap. Now, personally speaking, I have never been a fan of The Last of of Us, even the first game. The premise of it always bored me to tears, and the gameplay never looked even remotely interesting to me. Having said that, while I didn't watch the show The Last of Us because I would rather watch paint dry, I have seen a lot of clips from it. So I can't say definitively whether or not the show is good. I can say from what I have seen, I would have changed the channel within 2 seconds. So hearing this doesn't give me a lot of hope and aspiration for the future of Baldur's Gate as an IP, especially if the amount that Larian is involved with is basically just a conversation. At like no point in the flow of any of these reveals do I feel even a hint of optimism. And this just feels like, oh, people really liked Baldur's Gate 3 and it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Let's try to cash in on that by making a TV show. And there's just nothing here that even remotely seems like it could go even possibly well. I don't trust other people that aren't Larian to take these characters and to develop them and flesh them out past the point the game did. I don't trust that at all. That itself is a massive red flag to me. So there's no shot, and I imagine when we eventually get trailers for this thing that will confirm it, there's no shot they're going to be able to nail down the tone, the feel those characters and the world of Baldur's Gate 3 had within the game made by Larian. Larian are one of the best in the entire industry when it comes to this stuff. Trying to take something that works so well as a choose-your-own-adventure RPG video game and trying to just make a TV show based on like a specific ending, I guess, this just sounds terrible, and it sounds cash grabby, and it sounds cash grabby more than anything. Like every now and then, nowadays, when it comes to an adaptation of a video game, some people can enjoy it, right? I know Fallout gets a lot of crap, but there are some people out there that enjoy that adaptation. There's some people out there that probably enjoy The Last of Us as an adaptation as well. Those people exist. I can say this though, as someone who is a big fan of Baldur's Gate 3, there's not one bit here that gets me excited about this. I just end up groaning internally and externally. And it gets worse the more you think about it. The voice acting in the game gave these characters so much life because the voice acting is so good. If this isn't animated, which, come on, let's be fair here, no one actually thinks this is going to get animated, right? What are we doing with the casting? Oh god, the casting. Bro, who's gonna play Astarion? Jack Black? Wait, maybe there's a funny end to all of this, right? Get Jack Black as Astarion, Dwayne Johnson as Shadowheart, Zendaya as Gale, and John Cena as Lae'zel. Bro, look at what Larian tweeted out. The perfect fan cast doesn't exist. You know, I think the sad thing is that for a lot of people out there, this will probably end up being better casting than whatever we actually end up getting. I love the Gale one. We just look into the bathroom mirror. Bro, look at the first reply. Whatever you do, do not let Chris Pratt become Astarion. God's help us. You know sentiment is absolutely in the drain when IGN is crapping on you from the announcement. My ex broke up with me over text, and to be honest, this is worse. The internet and developer Larian react to HBO Baldur's Gate 3 sequel TV show. Oh god. Dude, IGN's actually cooking. Check this bit out. Hold on. Zoom in. It's fair to say the internet has reacted strongly to the news, and from what I can see, much of that reaction is a mix of disbelief and concern. I'd argue downright pessimism. Most can't fathom why anyone would want to continue on from the events of Baldur's Gate 3 itself, given its many different endings, variances in world state, and most importantly, the vastly different outcomes for characters such as Astarion, Karlach, and Shadowheart. Exactly. It's like, this is the good part of Baldur's Gate 3. It's like, your choices matter. I don't want an adaptation that kind of implies that some choices matter more than others. Larian publishing director Michael Dowse, however, was initially less diplomatic as he crashed out on social media, retweeting a number of memes and responding to others, but he then offered a more level-headed view. I spent the last 8 to 10 years of my life with the writers and creators of Baldur's Gate 3, and they're the most incredible storytellers and creators in the space, Dowse said. Only hope is that they get both the credit and deserved, come on eyeballs, work. Only hope is that they get both the credit deserved and the characters are represented at the same level as the game. No shot this is happening, right? Like, let's not delude ourselves into believing this is going to even remotely happen. I genuinely don't think anyone can trump our writers are stories that built by fierce camaraderie and resolve. I have watched them write and through respect for audience and material, come up with some of the finest shit I have ever played. I hope TV allows for the same thoroughness. It won't. Don't abandon hope. Won't have to. It'll abandon me. But do expect the world. That's the job. Go to hell is basic. I hope one of your favorite video games gets made into a TV series run by Craig Mazin. Is terrifying. It's possible. It just happened to me. Crying emoji. One single manly tear. In no way, shape, or form has it ever made me more excited for something hearing, hey, we got a bunch of other people to continue this story. That has never excited me in the history of ever when it comes to a source material that is actually good. Down by the river. Hollywood just can't help themselves. But, you know, the silver lining here is, even if it's bad, we can just ignore it at least and just stick to the game. Because you know what? The game is awesome. And we'll always have that, thankfully at least. And here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with what fanbase would you like to curse next to get an actual adaptation for. I would love to hear your suggestions down in the comments below. And what do you think of the Baldur's Gate 3 TV show? Are you optimistic for it? Or are you like me and you're worried? And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And the Warcraft name is apparently intimidating. Yeah, apparently Chris Metzen said that. And you know what? Good. Want to find out more? You should check out this video right here. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a great day. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.